Hey there, everybody. This is Alex Barth. You are watching the CLNS Media pregame show. Thanks for tuning in to our first regular season broadcast, our first live broadcast, getting you ready for the Patriots and Chiefs coming up momentarily. Before we get started, I just want to remind everybody this is the CLNS Media Patriots pregame show. So visit clnsradio.org for all of our Patriots coverage and coverage around of all sports in Boston. You can follow myself on Twitter at @TheRealAlexB. Follow CLNS Media on Twitter at CLNS Media, at Patriots Beat for our specific Patriots coverage. Now, I want this to be an interactive show. I have my notes that I want to talk about. We're going to touch on quite a bit. A lot's happened today as we get ready for this game. But if you guys have any questions as well, feel free to throw them in the chat. I got my computer right here. I'm taking a look at that. So more than happy to talk about anything you guys want to talk about. But while you guys come up with your questions or your comments or whatever it is you want to say, I just want to remind everybody that this show is brought to you by FanDuel. Fantasy football fans, the wait is over. Football is back. It's back tonight. You can start playing FanDuel tonight. What does that mean? Well, it means it's fantasy football for everybody. New contest starting every week. I drafted Julian Edelman. I may need some weekly fantasy football. I picked him earlier than I should have to. It was not a good look for me, but not a fantasy guy. I like real football. But FanDuel still works for me because it's week to week. It is more like real football. And best part, recently graduated college, starts at just $1. Excellent. Fantastic pricing right there. Just pick a contest, choose your team, watch the score in real time. Every game becomes more exciting. You can get the players you like. If Brady went before you had a chance to pick in the draft, it happened to me. You can still get Tom Brady. Come and join over 2.5 million players who have already won a cash prize playing fantasy sports on FanDuel. And if you sign up today, listen carefully, if you sign up today using the promo code PatriotsBeat, that's one word, PatriotsBeat, you can try it for free with no deposit required. Visit FanDuel.com to claim your free contest. Just use the promo code PatriotsBeat. That's FanDuel.com, promo code PatriotsBeat, void where prohibited. Well, now that we got the fantasy out of the way, it is time to get back to reality as we talk some Patriots football. I'm on Periscope as well, so if I missed any comments on Periscope, any questions, let me know. I'm more than happy to talk about it. Let's start with the inactives, though, because I am surprised with the inactives. They came out about 20 minutes ago, and the special teams took a hit. We knew that Matt Slater had a nagging injury throughout camp. That's no surprise. He's going to miss this game. Nate Ebner is going to miss this game. And Harvey Lange, the undrafted rookie linebacker out of BYU, who was not only supposed to factor in on special teams, but on defense as well, will miss this game. He is inactive. He is still dealing with the lingering effects of a concussion. So, we saw it in Alabama FSU on last Saturday night. Special teams are key. Special teams can swing a game one way or the other. Belichick doesn't have some of his core special teamers in there tonight. Add to that Stephen Gostkowski, who's still somewhat of a question mark. I will say it. Stephen Gostkowski is still somewhat of a question mark. Special teams are going to play big tonight. So literally from the opening kick, the Patriots are going to have to dig themselves out of an injury hole. And the injury bug continued to hit today, and it gets to our first online question. This came from Zach on Twitter. No Malcolm Mitchell, at least the first 8 weeks, probably more, still a nagging knee injury. Now, wide receiver, I'm not ready to say wide receiver is a weakness for the Patriots because it's not. They still have Brandon Cooks, who's a top 10 receiver in the league. Chris Hogan's due for a breakout year. Amendola is sure-handed as they come. But they only have 4 receivers. You add onto those 3, who am I missing? But after 4, there's literally nobody else on the roster. Jacob Hollister could maybe play a little wide receiver. You have DJ Foster and Cody Hollister on the practice squad. They could possibly come up and play some wide receiver. But they're walking a fine line. It's still a talented position. It's still a plus, but they are one loss away from really, really being in trouble at that wide receiver position. Gronk is going to be big. Gronk's health is probably bigger this year than it's been at any point in his career, given all that's going on. We'll see how they use him tonight. I don't want to see him run inside the numbers. I want to see him stay outside the numbers. I don't want his health being at risk at all. It's something that scares me. But I don't know what you guys think of the Malcolm Mitchell injury. Please let me know. I'll talk about that. In the meantime, we're going to get into some matchup stuff, X's and O's. That's what I want the show to be as we get into it throughout the season. We can talk some fantasy football if you want. I'm down to talk fantasy football, of course. But I really want to keep this about the X's and O's, what's going to happen on the field tonight. I do have Patriots in most of my fantasy leagues, so I am being a bit of a hypocrite. But we're going to try to keep this, unless you want to talk FanDuel, we can talk weekly fantasy football. But getting it started, when the Patriots have the ball, two big matchups I'm looking at tonight when the Patriots are on offense. The first one, Nate Solder, Marcus Cannon. They went above and beyond last year. Those guys were huge for this team. They were much better than anybody thought they could have been last year. And now the question is, was it a one-year wonder? Can they keep it going? And they're going to get a test tonight. No Tom Bahali, who has traditionally wreaked havoc on the Patriots. He's on the PUP. But coming off the edge, you're going to have D Ford on one side, Justin Houston on the other. Those are two top-level pass rushers. And they don't really bring them up the middle. It may be different this year. No Dontari Poe. There's more room in the middle to rush the pass. But those guys, it's going to be the tackles, and then to an extent the running backs and the tight ends, but mainly the tackles who are dealing with those guys. They're going to need a big performance out of two of their best offensive players last year in Nate Solder and Marcus Cannon. Remember, Nate Solder's in a contract year. Marcus Cannon just signed an extension. So these guys both have kind of a target on their backs. Fans are looking to see, is Marcus Cannon worth it, and will Nate Solder be worth it? A good performance from them tonight goes a long way for me. Rex Burkhead as well. I've talked about this before. I talked about it when I did Patriot Beat back in July before training camp. One of the most underrated parts of Rex Burkhead's game is pass protection. We'll see tonight. This is a team with a good pass rush. Outside of that, they don't have too much. And that's my other point. I know they have Eric Berry in the secondary. The Patriots traditionally, look, when they went against Ed Reed in his prime, Troy Polamalu in his prime, they do a good job of taking away talented safeties. It's still something they have to game plan for. They may not be able to do some of what they want to do because the safety is out there. But they do have a history of taking away talented safety. So I'm not so much focused on Eric Berry right now. Very good player. I want to talk about the corners and what they have going for them after Marcus Peters. I think Marcus Peters is a very good player. Really not a lot of depth. There's been a fight in camp for the second and third cornerback spots between five guys. And how are the Patriots going to attack that with this limited wide receiver depth? And how do the Chiefs cover? Is it going to be a number two corner with Eric Berry over the top on Brandon Cooks? If Brandon Cooks is one-on-one with anybody besides Marcus Peters, Brandon Cooks should go for over 100 yards tonight. Easy. He should go for over 100 yards in the first half if they're going to keep giving him that look. But I want to see Brady identify Marcus Peters on the field and find the mismatch, because there are going to be mismatches with those other corners. They do not live up to the rest of the remaining Patriots receiving core. So keep an eye on number 22 in red tonight. Again, this is the CLNS Media Patriots pregame show. We're getting you ready for the kickoff of the season, the banner raising, the Patriots and the Chiefs getting started in about 27 minutes. If you guys have any questions or comments, things you want me to talk about, feel free to put them in the chat on YouTube or on Periscope. I'm more than happy to get into just about anything you guys want to get into pertaining to this game tonight. We had a couple of questions online. We'll get into those as we go on throughout the show. If you're watching, you're listening at the stadium, first of all, thanks for being on your phone at the stadium. That's awesome, and I hope you're enjoying the banner raising. I can't wait to go watch it. I hope you have your Goodell clown towel. That's going to be really interesting tonight, because NBC, in their contract with the league, they're really not supposed to show anti-league propaganda, whether it be fans holding up signs or if somebody's there in an Aaron Hernandez jersey or something like that. There's going to be 70,000 towels with the commissioner with a clown nose. I don't know how you avoid showing that if you're NBC. They're in for a long night tonight. Before the game in the pregame, if you heard it before you're watching me, the fans were booing, and the NBC, they had they have the desk on the field by one of the end zones, and the staff thought that they were booing the Chiefs. It was the Chiefs coming out on the field because the boos were just so overpowering. Nope, it was Roger Goodell. And it's just going to be one of those kind of nights. I know he said he's going out pregame. I know they're not going to show him on the Jumbotron. It's the Pittsburgh game 2 years ago was a lot of fun. I think in terms of atmosphere and just Patriot fan camaraderie, this is going to top that. And that's a hard game to top, but I think they top it here tonight. Again, this is the Patriots pregame show on CLNS Media. You can check us out online, CLNS Media, CLNSradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at CLNS Media. You can follow me at @TheRealAlexBarth. If you have any questions for me on Periscope or on YouTube Live, feel free to put them in the chat. More than happy to answer anything. We'll get into the other side of the ball now. Will you guys come up with, if I'm missing anything, by the way, on either one, I'm trying to make my college on-air professor proud and look right at the camera. If I miss your message, put it again. You're not bothering me. I promise I want to talk about what you guys want me to talk about. I want this to be your show. But that being said, I can't look all over the place at once. So, when the Chiefs have the ball, Tyreek Hill, that's the guy at this point. I know they have Travis Kelce. And again, I'm going to ignore one of the better playmakers because the Patriots have a history of taking away those talented tight ends. They rarely get killed by tight ends. They're going to put Patrick Chung on him early. And if Chung can take care of him, Chung will take care of him. And if not, they'll move McCourty over. And that's the scary thing because Devin McCourty is going to be key tonight. We remember what Taylor Gabriel did to the Patriots in the Super Bowl with his top-line speed, getting over the top. He had a couple of big plays on Malcolm Butler. First of all, Malcolm Butler will not be on Tyreek Hill tonight. I do not think he will be. I would be shocked if he is, given what happened in the Super Bowl. If they have to take McCourty and put him over the top on Hill, it's going to open things up for Travis Kelce. Or if they have to, take McCourty on Kelce, it's going to open things up for Tyreek Hill over the middle. And that's the last thing the Patriots need at this point, is to deal with that kind of speed one-on-one or with Deron Harmon, who traditionally is a deep ball safety. He's not going to run with the defender. He's going to let the defender come to him. And you could do that with those bigger body guys like an A.J. Green or Julio Jones, not with these speedsters like Tyreek Hill. The plus side for the Patriots, they've known that this was going to be their opening game for how long now? A couple months when the schedule came out. So Belichick's had 7 or 8 months to plan for Tyreek Hill, and he's used all of them. He didn't just start planning for him on Monday. Trust me, he didn't. And I don't think Tyreek Hill's in for a big night. I think a lot of Chiefs fans are going to be disappointed in what they see with him and Travis Kelce tonight. And no Spencer Ware. They're going to have to get it done on the ground. The Chiefs, if they want to win tonight, are going to have to establish some sort of running game. And I don't know how they do that. I know people have question marks about this Patriots front seven, and trust me, I have them. But they're mostly depth-related and pass rush-related. I don't doubt this team's ability to stop the run. Look, I know Vincent Valentine's inactive tonight. He's dealing with an injury. But you have Alan Branch, who, since he signed with this team midway through the 2014 season, has been one of the most underrated players in football. The fact they got him off the scrap heap continues to astound me. An incredibly talented player. You've got Malcolm Brown. If he can make the jump this year, Belichick always talks about the jump from year 2 to year 3. This is year 3 for him. If he can make a jump, he has a lot of upside. And Adam Butler, the undrafted rookie from Vanderbilt. Now, undrafted rookie playing in his first game. I'm not saying I expect him to come out of 10 tackles, a couple of sacks, whatever. No. But I do think he can be a presence tonight. You go and you watch his tape. The football IQ's coming along. It's getting there. He didn't play in an overly complicated system at Vanderbilt. He was a true nose tackle. His job was just get in the middle, get in the way. But you watch some of the plays he makes specifically against the run. And for a guy as big as he is, well over 300 pounds, he is nimble. He is athletic. He can stop quickly, change direction. He's got a bit of a vertical. He can make those lunging tackles, reach out and grab people. It reminds me, and I'm not saying he's the same player because that's blasphemy. Right now, he's got a long way to go, but it reminds me of Vince Wilfork, where Vince was, 340, 350, and we saw him make those leaping interceptions and return them 40 yards. I mean, he's got that sort of athletic style to him where you don't expect a guy that big to move in the way he moves. Now, if he can put it together with the intelligence and the strength, then, yeah, you're looking at not a Vince Wilfork player, but a Vince Wilfork type of player, which is always crucial to the Patriots defense, even before Vince Wilfork. The Bobby Hamiltons, the Ted Washingtons. Bill Belichick has always had one of those guys. The defensive tackle that you don't realize is going to be just as quick as you are. So I'm looking forward to watch. Adam Butler is probably one of the guys, and he didn't play a lot in the preseason because they wanted to hide him in case they needed to cut him and get him on the practice squad. And when he played, he looked good, but I'm looking forward to seeing him against top-level talent tonight. He made a late push for the roster. You didn't get to watch him much early. I'm really excited to see what he brings tonight. However much he plays. I don't think he'll play that much, but I do think he will get snaps tonight. Because they're not going to have Alan Branch and Malcolm Brown play, 60, 70, 80 snaps. No. They're going to keep him at about 40, and then you add in the third downs or whatever. Speaking of third downs, not about this game, but interesting. I don't know if you guys saw this. Akeem Ayers worked out for the Patriots this week. How do you feel about that? I'd like to see them bring him in. You can never have too many pass rushers. He works in their system. The reason he's considered a bust is the contract he signed out of New England paid him like a 3-down player. He's not a 3-down player, and if you think that, you're kidding yourself, but he's a very good pass rusher, and they could use one of those right now. especially with Shea McClellan going on the IR. Speaking of the IR, Malcolm Mitchell as well going on the IR today. Now, I know I talked about this at the top of the show. Going to get back into it a little bit here. I'm not too alarmed by this. I'm really not. It sucks that he's going to miss some time, but it's short-term IR. He can be back by late October. And how many times have the Patriots gotten a guy back? Look at last year with Brady. How many times have the Patriots gotten a guy back partway through the season, completely changed their offense, and just dumbfounded teams the rest of the year? Because they're a different team in November and December than they are in September and October. Malcolm Mitchell's not Tom Brady, but he has enough of a skill set that their offense is going to look different with him and without him. It sucks he's going to miss time, and yes, it's a lingering knee injury. It's not like he's going to come back and be 100%. This may be something he deals with the rest of his career, and that would be rather unfortunate. But I don't see it. We have a comment here on Periscope. Andy Reid's going to put New England in his place because he's done so well doing that before. He's probably already trying to call timeouts. Get ready for some painful clock management tonight. I'm sorry, Andy Reid. I don't mean to attack you. I didn't see the name, but whoever's watching me on Periscope, I really appreciate your watching. Thank you very much. Check out CLNSmedia.com. But you really can't be thinking the reason that is that Maurice Jones-Drew? If you're Maurice Jones-Drew, show yourself. You really can't think Andy Reid is the reason the Chiefs win this game if they win this game. Oh my God. The clock management is brutal. I know he likes snacks, but the clock management is brutal. Clock management is not the only thing people have on him. He doesn't, it's just an overall level of being conservative. They're going to get to the 45, the Patriots 45 early in the game, have a 4th and 2, and punt. Because that's what Andy Reid does. And look, he's not a bad coach. Those Philly teams early in his career, those were good teams, and he was a big part of that. The ways he used Brian Westbrook was a good player, but he wouldn't have been as good without Andy Reid. Andy Reid's a good coach. He falls into the Mike Tomlin category. Good coach. But when you start talking about one of the elite coaches, calling Andy Reid top 10 isn't because he's a good coach. It's because there aren't that many good coaches, and he's better than the schmucks that come in for 2 years and leave and head back to the CFL. He's a good coach. He's top half in the league. You're not winning games against a team like the New England Patriots because Andy Reid is your coach. That's just the way it is. If he's top 10, if Andy Reid is top 10, French, it's because there really just aren't that many, there aren't that many better coaches. Same thing with Mike Tomlin. They win because they've put together an interesting roster. They had a lot of playmakers, and they got a guy that didn't turn the ball over. But Jamal Charles is gone. Dwayne Bowe really left before they got it going. Who do they have besides Tyreek Hill as a wide receiver? I'm not too worried about Chris Cooley. If you think he's a good player, all the power to you. He's 4th on the Patriots depth chart right now. Does Andy Reid win you games against the Jaguars? Yes. Does he win you games against the 49ers? Sure. He doesn't win you games against the New England Patriots. Chris Cooley retired years ago. That's on me. That's my bad. I'll take a lap for that after we get off the air, which will be soon, so get your questions in here. We're getting you ready for Patriots Chiefs. CLNS Media pregame show, clnsmedia.com. Make sure to go check that out. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheRealAlexB. You can follow us on Twitter at CLNS Media, at Patriots_beat for our coverage. Any other comments you guys have kind of as we wrap it up here? I started talking about Malcolm Mitchell going on the IR. Not a huge concern for me. I think some people are more concerned than I am, and maybe they're right. We'll see. That's why you play the games. But ultimately, my one takeaway tonight, football's back. We earned this. What a boring baseball season. To the point where the most notable thing that has happened is somebody accusing somebody of cheating. That's been going on for 50 years. Thoughts on Hogan? Yeah, I think Hogan's going to have a big night tonight. I think he's going to have a big season, but not in the Julian Edelman role. I don't know necessarily who they're going to throw into that role. I guess at this point it has to be Amendola. It might even be Dion Lewis. But I don't think Hogan's going to take that. He's too good of a downfield receiver to not waste him in the slot, but put him in the slot. Patriots running back distribution, very good point. I just mentioned it. I think with these injuries, it's going to get changed because Dion Lewis, James White are going to be used as wide receivers. I think White's your primary back. You're going to use Rex Burkhead on third downs because he's a good receiver and he's a great blocker. Don't sleep on Rex Burkhead blocking. Gillislee's your goal line back. Dion Lewis, you'll see him more and more spelled with James White throughout the season. I don't think his workload will be heavy early to keep him healthy, but if you need to use James White in the slot, you'll see more Dion Lewis, or maybe they'll just put Dion Lewis in the slot. So it's gonna be, and unfortunately, Brandon Bolden might get some carries if they do that. Brandon Bolden's a good special teams player, but I don't want him touching the football. He's just ate popcorn. He's, what's his name, Vinny from The Longest Yard. Shouldn't have had that popcorn, man. If you get that reference, all the power to you. We're going to wrap this thing up here in a minute, so if you have any last questions, put them in. I like the questions coming in now late. See, when I put the pressure on you guys, they start going. Make sure you tune in to CLNS Media after the game. Mike and Marv will have the post-game show. They'll take your questions on the game, comments, all that. I'm sure there's going to be a lot to break down. Specifically, it's really our first look at this offense. I know they played a half against Houston. I know they played a little bit against Detroit, but they were holding Brandon Cooks back. They weren't showing anything with Brandon Cooks. I just can't wait. I have been a huge fan of this guy since he got drafted. I think the Saints traded the wrong player. They had to get rid of one, him or Mike Thomas. They weren't getting along. I think they got rid of the wrong guy. I cannot believe. So I said this earlier on. If it's anybody but Marcus Peters on him and they're trying to go one-on-one, absolutely. And I would assume Eric Berry's taking care of Gronk. So Berry won't be the guy over the top. If you don't have Marcus Peters on Brandon Cooks, yeah, Cooks could go over 100 yards in the first half. They're not going to run the ball a lot tonight. Not early. Because those pass rushers we talked about at the top of the show, D Ford and Justin Houston, they need to keep those guys off balance. How do you keep a pass rush off balance? Play action. So they're going to run. So they're going to run early, as in the first drive or two. Then they're going to go. I'd go pass heavy until halftime, and then bring the run back later on if you get the lead. That would be my game plan for this game. Put the run in their heads. First couple series, start hitting them with play action down the field to Hogan, down the field to Cooks. And remember, the Patriots' running game also includes like screens. That's a run for them. That's not a pass. So those kind of plays early, keep those pass rushers on their heels. Go to the play action, and then see if you can open it up in the second quarter. Get Cooks and Hogan going deep. That's my game plan. I don't think Gronk's much of a factor tonight simply because Eric Berry, I would assume, will be on him. And if Eric Berry's on him, I'm not expecting, he'll have a couple catches, but I'm not expecting huge things from Gronk just because Eric Berry is a incredibly talented football player. So, I don't bet again. I know Gronk is Gronk, but given the weaknesses and the corners after Marcus Peters the Chiefs have in their secondary, I don't trust that. That's the beauty of the number of weapons the Patriots have. You don't have to test Eric Berry tonight, and I wouldn't poke that bear if you don't have to. Now, if this is the 2014 Patriots and you're looking at Aaron Dobson, Kenbrell Tompkins, yeah, you probably have to test Eric Berry. But that's why they went out and got all these receivers. All right, I'm going to wrap this up here in a second unless anybody has any last questions for me, either on YouTube or on Periscope. If not, Brady... No, I mean, he's going to throw there occasionally. This isn't... So what I mean by that is this isn't one of those, like, 10-catch, 130-yard, 2-touchdown games for Gronk. Probably like 5 catches, 60 to 70 yards, maybe a touchdown. They can work him in the red zone. He'll be a factor in the red zone tonight. I don't think they hit him down the field that much. I don't think they go there that much. And maybe I'll be wrong. Look, I don't know what this offense is going to be. This is the toughest game to predict because they've changed the offense in the offseason. We'll see. Maybe they attack Gronk. Trust me, I will only get more. This will be my least accurate show. I'm going to get cold takes like hell from this show because I'm basing it off of nothing. I put no stock into preseason gameplay because they're using a Madden playbook. This will be, by week 17, I will be Nostradamus out here. Just give me time. But until then, until week 2, when we know more, my name's Alex Barth. Again, make sure you check out clnsradio.com, at CLNS Media on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, at TheRealAlexB. If you found this Periscope, you found me on Twitter, so you know how to do it. Make sure to come back for the post-game on CLNS with Mike and Marv. Check in with us during the game at Trags. Mike Traglia will have our coverage during the game. And if you have any other questions, tweet me. I'll be on Twitter during the game as well. More than happy to talk about whatever. All right, I hope everybody enjoyed this first live Patriots CLNS Media pregame show. Patriots and Chiefs in about 10 minutes. I'll let everybody go get the chips, get the guacamole, crack open a cold one. Enjoy the game, everybody. This has been Alex Barth for CLNS. I'll talk to you next week. Bye. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.